What would be the perfect warrior in Star Wars or in the Star Wars universe? What's good, y'all? You Dub back here again in 2022. Let's get it. Now, I was asked this question. This is an impromptu video, right? I was asked this question in a comment um, by by a legendary subscriber. He knows who he is. And I love questions like this. Obviously, I'm smiling. First of all, absolutely love talking about Star Wars, different philosophies, different ideologies, different concepts that they produce, the different psychologies, the different social structures, and more. I mean, the entire channels are dedicated to Star Wars, so I follow some great channels, might I add. And I absolutely love this question because it tells me that this person is thinking about the series, isn't just taking things verbatim, as Obi-Wan Kenobi said, from a certain point of view. It's not the most powerful. He said the perfect. Okay. Now, I'm probably going to piss people off as usual because I'm certain there will be some Star Wars, people in the fandom, because that fandom's always pissed off on something. It's always dramatic, overly dramatic, and people vehemently disagree and tell me I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. It is what it is. But I'm not trying to hear the Sith fanboys in that. The dark side. It's the most powerful force in the entirety of Star Wars. It allows you to do this laundry list of obscure miscellaneous abilities, and we could go back to the ancient Sith that were the most powerful that can be. But then supposedly Darth Sidious is the most powerful Sith. Man, y'all can miss me with that. And to you Jedi fanboys, oh yeah, we got smoke for you too. Well, no, the dark side is a perversion of the force, man. And the light side, if you train long enough and you live long enough and you live harmoniously, you'll get some very powerful abilities. You see Yoda, you see Luke, Anakin's potential, and man, if you would just, you could become a force ghost. Man, cut the noise. Screw that. Screw all that. All right, let's address the foolishness. All right. First of all, I often hold, and I tell people this: there is no dark side or light side. There is just the force. It depends on how you use it and your perspective of it. I loosely use the dark side and loosely use light side, right? Because it's familiar. Both are wrong. If you go back to the ancient Jedi order, okay? They would send people, if you were more into the light side, they would send you to the dark side moon. More into the dark side, they would send you into the light side moon. All right? Going back to the beginnings. Now, to the point about the dark side being a corruptive force, I disagree with. For example, Mace Windu using Vapad and good old Luke Skywalker, even in Return of the Jedi, tapped into the dark side. We see how powerful the dark side gives you. And also, to the point about the light side being, yes, it has its own power and it's sustainable. Alright? The dark side corruption destroys you. That is true. Because here's the thing. Too much of the dark side makes you an asshole. The biggest asshole in the galaxy. And too much of the light side is too nurturing. It's not meant for war. Let me reiterate. The light side is not meant to be a warrior, which is why the perfect Jedi is not the perfect warrior. Okay? The perfect Jedi isn't docile, isn't exactly a pacifist, but does what is necessary. Think about that. So neither way is right. I don't want to hear about Sith alchemy. Because, I'm sorry, where is Sith alchemy in the last 5,000 years? You can miss with that. Dark side magic by the Night Sisters. Where they at? Where they at? In a larger galaxy. Oh, and just being a Force user alone. The Yuuzhan Vong proved that's a problem. See, another thing I almost mentioned to start the video off with about the light side is you got to be of a certain bloodline, species, species and a certain midichlorian count. That's a fact. If you looked at the most powerful light side users, the Skywalkers, Mace Windu, Yoda. I'll wait. Oh, and what about the species that aren't really connected with the Force like that? Are some of them not powerful? Are the Hutts not powerful? Some of them are resistant to the Force. So we have to look at everything in a factor. Number one, perfect warrior. I'm not going to dismiss the Force, but it's a balance between the light and the dark. Grandmaster Luke realized that. Anakin Skywalker was on that path. Mace Windu was on that path. Shoot, if you would have gave him enough time, probably Qui-Gon Jinn would have been on that path. Yoda could have been on that path. Count Dooku, Darth Tyrannus could have been on that path. Okay? Understanding the emotion with the dark, the passion, and understanding the nurturing, the empathetic, the compassionate side of the light. Both of those are right. Just don't go too deep into either side. Okay? Don't cut your mind off. So, a balance of the Force. We start there. Number two, actually being skilled at technology, which some Jedi and Sith were. Actually being very skilled. Don't just, we use a lightsaber. Man, screw that. You got guns. You got blasters, okay? You have all this technology, right? You have things like the bowcasters or whatever that the Wookiees use, all right? So there's that. Probably somebody of like the Wookiee size, something like that. Okay, you could argue the Hutts would be great, but you know some of them have a tendency to get too lazy. I mean, you could say, well, if you want a long life, you could argue the Hutts, but I would argue something like the Wookiees. Okay, phenomenal physical strength. Now, there's a few species that are contenders in this regard, but something of phenomenal physical strength can still tap into the Force, which we know that some of the Wookiees can. Defense and whatever. Maybe not as rigid as a Wookiee, but then there is the bounty hunter, the legendary bounty hunter who I don't even want to try to butcher his name, but like the black one that would battle, he battles some of the best. So you can consider that. I would consider someone technologically, let's see, physically superior, taps into the Force, balances the Force. Someone who's skilled in multiple forms of, combat. Not just lightsaber use, not just blasters, but use of a bow, meaning a staff, use of a bowcaster. Someone who's highly versatile on the battlefield. Someone who's a straight up warrior, a trained warrior. Kind of how the Sith of old, some of them were the kind of berserker class, the like Darth Malgus, them, except not just straight brute, but using the brains too. So pretty much a special ops Force user. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. Now people will say, "Oh wait you mean did Celestial?" But man, we ain't trying to see that, bro. We are not trying to go into these Force God territory. Which we come on now, let's get out of here, bro. That's not realistic. Let's be honest. And honestly, what did they really do? What did they really accomplish as warriors? We talk about the perfect warriors over here. So someone who understands battle strategy. If you were to go perfect, probably cybernetics. Probably cybernetics come into play. If not, for a loss of a limb, possibly a body armor, to help out because we can see what they can do with there. So body armor, extra durability, extra potential, faster, stronger, activity there. Let's see. Someone, obviously experienced, okay? Someone who's rogue, someone who comes up with his or her own philosophy, probably a him, considering that, the masculine war. Um, Someone who, kind of like Musashi Miyamoto, okay? Someone who's a Ronin who traveled, um, someone dedicated to it. May or may not have a family, who knows, but someone dedicated to the craft of battle. Um, And not someone just dedicated to war itself. That doesn't make you the perfect warrior. We're talking about someone who, farmer, no, someone involved in society, into the affairs of society, constantly keeps up training, but is around society, knows what's going on. Um, some could say, would it be a bounty hunter? Maybe partially, probably someone who's dealt in multiple things, maybe farming, maybe some bounty hunting, maybe just, different things that got a lot of experience. Um, you know, Probably someone who exists after the empire, probably going into that era, would make the most sense. After Luke's gone, probably 100, 200 years after, that whole, whether it be in the EU or in the Disney canon, canon timeline. Um, yeah, I mean, that would be the gist of it. The perfect warrior in Star Wars would be someone highly capable in all facets. And the reason I'm also putting it beyond the Yuuzhan Vong War is because it would be a great teaching and great lesson to not overly rely on any one thing, but to be skilled. Also, not just I mentioned, the cybernetics, enhancement, or at least a suit of armor or something along those lines. Probably also learning biological warfare, honestly, if we want to start going there. Um, and using a lot of that as the destructive method, having maybe some nades on them, grenades, having things of that nature, but utilizing poisons, utilizing, explosive things, getting rare medicinal value, and in that way, maybe eventually becoming somewhat of a shaman. Uh, this would be, again, someone who would have extreme life experience, who's seen battle, who understands things. And so I think it would be a mixture of most of the classes that we've seen historically in Star Wars. When I'm thinking of a perfect, I'm thinking of a combination, the best of the best, but the synthesis of everything, all skill sets. And when you have that, I mean, who's really beating someone who's a fantastic force user, who's not going to get swayed in the light or the dark, who's not that, but is balanced? I mean, come on. It's just straight up a conduit of the force, who's tech savvy, who you don't have really any blind spots on the battlefield because they will have the blaster on them. They'll maybe have a bowcaster on them, a staff, a lightsaber. Okay, you're talking potential viruses and things of that nature on them. Healing potions and things of that. I mean, you're talking about someone who's devastating, which is probably why we haven't seen it in the Star Wars as of yet. Because someone I'm describing, you ain't fucking with him, and is physically superior. Imagine a Wookiee with force lightning, force pushes, can, take ships out of the sky. I'm not even going to go into the crazy abilities of the light side and dark side. It's just a balanced force user is the force conduit. Superhuman reflexes and ability added on, stacked on to cybernetic, a battle suit or whatnot. Again, having all the tech, having the lightsaber, having the knowledge and know-how, pretty much a one-man army. I mean, you could even go into like Iron Man meets Luke Skywalker. Iron Man Tony Stark meets Luke Skywalker. Maybe not the intellect of Iron Man, but kind of more of a MacGyver. Okay. So that would be my perfect warrior in Star Wars. Someone who's special ops, like a MacGyver, someone who's highly capable, on the level of a master, a Jedi master, or a Sith Lord. Uh, Someone who is, again, has all the necessary tech, has biological, uh, you know, tools at his disposal, someone who's got all the battlefield experience and the life experience. You wouldn't want to mess with that kind of individual. Think about it. Physically capable, and has cybernetic enhancements in case, that person would be damn near unstoppable. And people can bring in, well, what about the most powerful? Really? The most powerful in history can be defeated. And we've seen it. Luke against multiple people. Even Grandmaster Luke could take that L. And you could argue that Grandmaster Luke in the E was the most powerful of any Force user we've ever seen. You could make an argument. Darth Vader has almost been killed multiple times. Darth Sidious can be killed. Like, there's no one in Star Wars who can't be killed. So, I'm not trying to hear that. Unexpected one to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts. What is your version or vision of the perfect warrior in the Star Wars universe? And if there are any other suggestions, let me know. And until next time, y'all, have a beautiful day, beautiful night, peace, and may the Force be with you.